We'll call today is the Bucyrus City Council committee meetings for economic development on Thursday, November 20th. I'm calling economic development. Does anyone have a time check? I got it. 6:03. Call to order at 6:03. Members present: Vicki Dishon, Chris Moritz, Terry Spiegel, and myself, Clarissa Slater, chair. First up, public participation.
Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. I hope it is not a problem, but it is my understanding that there is a land issue on North Sandusky Street. And does this have anything bearing to do with the new business up there? And is there a conflict of interest, or is there an ethics issue possibility? Should someone be asked to step down on this thing, or what? Thank you.
Any more public participation? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the entrepreneur initiative that was referred last night, or Tuesday night. I have been previously discussing with the John Glenn OSU College of Public Affairs, Public Administration and Affairs, and they have resources available to municipalities to basically be trained in assisting new businesses through these types of processes. I reached out to McKenna this morning and informed her of that in hopes that maybe we could do something collectively as a county to help streamline that process and have, our permit process and registration line up with, actually being synergistic, so actually getting the ball moving on new businesses. At this time, I don't have anything else than that. I do really appreciate the woman that came and spoke about wanting something to do for the kids. That's, I think, huge. That's something that we need in this county and the city. We don't have anything like, what was it called, Planet 40 over in Galleon. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It's like an arcade and bar. Like, we don't have anything like that where it kind of mixes the two, giving the parents something to do while also giving the kids something to do. So I'll do the best I can to look into and dig into it more and see if there's any grants or anything like that for people wanting to start business, and we'll go from there. But does anyone have anything else? All right, so moving on to open projects.
Oh, we have minutes.
Oh, where's that at? I didn't see minutes on here.
Oh, you have the old one.
Oh, okay.
I had sent to the committee members copies of the May 22nd and July 10th Economic Development Committee minutes. These were minutes, oh gosh, trying to remember off the top of my head here now. These were minutes that had been previously let's see here, just give me a second. Well, maybe they weren't minutes that had been done. No, they weren't minutes that had been done. And so I have offered to Michelle while I served as vice chair for the Economic Development Committee, to prepare the minutes that had yet to be prepared. And those minutes are the May 22nd and the July 10th. And those minutes were sent to committee members for their review. And then I had her place, well, we have just minutes, but we want to approve those 2 minutes. I'm assuming everyone read over the minutes? Okay. So, now, keeping in mind that on the May 22nd minutes, at that time, the only committee members that we had were myself, Chris Moritz, and Clarissa. So it'll be only those three that can vote on the May 22nd minutes. Then when we come to the July 10th minutes, it'll be myself, Moritz, Slater, and Spiegel. So Terry, you only get to vote on July 10th.
All right, well, that being said, if everyone had a chance to review the May 22nd meeting minutes, do I have a motion to accept and file?
No, approve.
Approve, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the regular committee meeting minutes from May 22nd, 2025 for economic development?
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
First from Moritz, second from
Dishon?
Dishon. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I'm assuming an abstain. Terry?
No.
Abstain?
I
Okay.
don't vote, so okay.
Oh, yeah, just, okay. All right, that passes, and then we have the regular committee meeting minutes from Thursday, July 10th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Dishon and a second from Moritz. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, those pass. And now open projects.
Hang on. Mr. Chair. I have one in my packet for May 8th.
Okay, hold
And
on. But,
I've got May 8th, July 10th, May 22nd in my packet.
Would we like to,
for economic development,
Yeah.
May 22nd?
I don't know if everybody got that or not.
okay.
I don't see that one.
Or do you want to table these?
Which one do you have?
So, yes, say again which ones you have.
May 8th, Thursday, May 8th. Of course, 22nd, Thursday.
I'm not seeing that one.
and then
Okay, the
July
May,
10th.
all right, the May 8th, if you read the email that I sent along with that, it said, please be informed that at the May 22nd committee meeting, we amended and approved the May 8th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Okay, that's what this is.
We'd already amended and approved them. I was just letting Michelle know that for whatever reason, when I checked documents on demand, they've never been posted.
So they are now. That's basically what that is just posted.
Right, so that's what, yeah, that's the only thing that needs to be done is the posting. But then you mentioned what other?
You set stuff up 22nd, right? July 10th?
July 10th is the one we just did,
What it did, and the 22nd, and then.
and
the 8th.
22nd is the one we just
Yeah,
did.
and then the 8th's the only one that's, I have on here that.
And there's nothing for us to do, as the
Okay.
email says,
Well,
so.
I just wondered why we got it in the pack, or I mean in our pack.
Well, I just wanted
just
you to
assumed.
know.
Yeah, I know, I just assumed it was one we were gonna pass on.
Okay. Anything else on the minutes? All right, seeing none now, third time's a charm. Open projects. I do know we're going through, Kevin just gave me a document that he spoke to Tommy and Brandon about what can be removed, but I think there's stuff missing.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, these open projects, I know that Mr. Starr was working on going through them. Mr. Gerner,
Miss-
or Mr. Gobrick, oh my gosh. Excuse me. Mr. Gobrick was also going through, I was told, the list. I would like to see this updated list so I could go through it, because I had started, well, I'd already gone through the open projects list and say, no, that, you know, but at the last committee meeting, when I asked for a status and went through and said, okay, here's what we have on the open projects, what are we doing? keep, remove, remove. Now I'm seeing on these sheets that they're written on, we're doing the exact opposite. No, keep that one, no, remove that one, and it's like, in just a week, we've changed our mind when I ask for a status report. So I would like to, personally, before we even sit down and look at what we have, because we don't have something updated, correct? So I don't even know why we're talking about these open projects lists, because the list that you're looking at, 918, that's the last one that we've been provided, and we haven't been provided one with these new people's thoughts. I think we're,
It's the most recent list I was given, and I was just trying to help them all get cleaned up for the start of next year.
and I totally get
And
that.
so I think both can be accomplished. I think you can remove things that are no longer needed. The stuff that's been referred since that date on September 18th still needs to be added.
Which I already did on mine. I always
Yeah.
keep mine up to date.
But that way, at least that gets the things off of there that no longer are needed.
The only thing is, I don't have a 918 in front of me, but go ahead, do your thing.
Well, I'd actually like to compare it to your list, if you have your list.
Well, I
So
didn't
no,
bring my list
Oh,
because
it's
I didn't figure we were gonna be,
That's okay.
yes, I did bring my suitcase.
Yeah, you
You can bring her
use my
suitcase
list.
annex.
Yeah, her banker box is stacked full.
Okay, but this is your paperwork. So, but I don't have my paperwork in front of me to say this is,
To cross-reference
Yeah.
it. I totally get what you're saying.
so you guys do whatever you want, and I'm just gonna sit here for the first time, keep my mouth shut.
Well, I'm gonna go through what they have suggested to be removed, and then if you end up updating your project list, we can compare notes. How about that? Does that work? Okay. What do you, let the committee decide. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to table this, or do you want to, like the removal, do you want to table it till next meeting, and Vicki and I can get together, or would you like to remove items
That
tonight?
sounds good. Good idea to me, to table till you guys can get together.
Does that sound okay, Terry? Okay, all right, perfect.
Because a question, here I am, not keeping my mouth shut. This list that you have here, where did you get it?
He just gave it to me before the meeting.
Michelle gave it to me, I met with Brandon, and I met with Tommy. And so
Well-
if you look on there, I've got red X's in either a
Okay.
BG or a TS.
Okay.
Who said to remove it, that they no longer felt was necessary. Then I highlighted in green the things that everybody thought should still stay on there.
But I'm gonna paddle you and say you should have given the committee members also a
I just finished
copy.
with Tommy.
Well,
I'm gonna take a picture of this and I'll email this out. I'll give this.
but we're
back to
still
you.
putting it on hold.
Yes, and
Yeah.
tabling it, and then you and I can compare notes. Okay, all of that being said, public participation again. Any public participation in economic development?
Question, oh, I guess,
Oh.
well, I was still on open projects, I'm sorry. Boy, we're really looking together here, aren't we? Terry, have you had an opportunity yet to check with the administration?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Any other open projects?
I'm done.
Okay. Terry, good? Are you good? Chris, are you good for open projects?
Open projects are good.
Okay, public participation.
Clarissa, you're the head of the economic development, right?
I am the economic development chair.
All right, so everyone knows that I've been named James Cady, formerly of 216 West Main Street. So I've been up here multiple times about moving a trucking company in here. And then I've been pushed out. It's like I've been pushed out of Bucyrus since Brandon was in the meeting when dude said it to me. So, as you being leader of the economic development, I think you should stand up and wonder why people's trying to push companies out.
Okay, so we're referring to the CIC and the North End Fire Station, correct?
Yeah, that, and not only that, I've been told by multiple people, hey, they don't want you here. So, it's a lot of
Well,
tax revenues being lost.
That's not my opinion, but I understand where you're coming from. It's something I've been wanting to address. The other thing is about the notices for the CIC meetings. They're not being posted. I've told who is the chair or the ex officio of that group that we need to make sure we're posting them. I warned them publicly once, and then this last time I did not attend because they're not posting the meeting notices, so like people like you can come.
Oh, I'm on the road, but I got tricks on my sleeve to find out if it has to do with the skin color or what. Like that I do already have up my sleeve. I'm not saying what my plan is, but if it goes through, I will be the one. I'm not Kurt, nobody. I will file a discrimination lawsuit against the city of Bucyrus.
So, I hear you. I can see where that's like a big factor for you, and I'm not discrediting that at all. What I'm saying is, I've been wanting to bring it up to the CIC to discuss the North End Fire Station, and we just talked tonight about getting with McKenna Laser for entrepreneurship.
Oh yeah, I talked to her after the Tuesday meeting. She said, James, I will help you out. She's like, that's big tax revenue. And I explained the same thing that I came up here during council meeting and everything. And
Yeah,
said,
I know trucking contracts are huge.
you know how much I made just this year leasing my truck, but I ain't bringing it all home. If I owned my truck, I'd be sitting right now at $100,000. How much of that would the city of Bucyrus get?
Right.
Come on, man.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all. And the thing is, we own that property. Well, now the CIC owns it, so the taxes are, coming out of the city's own pocket. So I'm not, I hear you.
Oh, there's more
want
stuff I
help
wanted to
you.
put in there. Yeah, I understand that. There's more stuff I wanted to go in there. It just wasn't just my trucking company. But I was bringing other stuff with my trucking company into that
Right.
building and trying to make it so I can live out of the one end of it because it was a fire station. But Mike and everybody said, hey, you can't do it. So,
Well, that's not even true because in city limits, our esteemed president did
You
it.
can't say that.
That's not true. It's happened before, though.
You can't say that because it's the zoning for that building. You cannot have a business and a residency in that building.
unless you
So you're telling me
change.
that this not that Kurt Fankhauser's building is not also GB? Or is it not general business, or is it limited commercial?
It's the way that the
I
city of
am not
Bucyrus.
ready to answer to that
Okay.
question because I'm unfamiliar with what you're talking about. But the old North Fire Station is in the downtown business district.
That's downtown business.
Yes. And as such, since it's in the downtown business district, oh, wait, hold on.
That's why all the apartments up above them
It's
places
in-
are not rented out.
People above it all the time.
I stand corrected. It's in the general business district. Hold on, give me a second here.
You're fine.
James, keep going.
The way it's set up, okay, is in the general business district. Trust me and Mike's went over this multiple times.
Yeah.
The way it's set up is, that's why when you look downtown, all the apartments above the places are not rented out because the city of Bucyrus has a thing, you cannot live in downtown general business. Now,
Several people.
right, but I'm talking about down around,
No, you're not allowed to live on the first floor in the downtown business district. You're allowed to live on the second and third floors if there's the second and third floors above businesses. That's how it's set up. You're technically not allowed to live on the first floor, even though there's a few violations of that fact right now. And I can't make comment on one of the major ones. But in the general business district, there are quite a few first-level residences. But I don't know if you can have a business and residence in the same commercial building.
which you are correct, unless you go with what's the name of it that you're trying to get Bucyrus to go through? How is Sandusky set up?
Cumulative zoning.
The zoning? What's the name of the zoning?
It's cumulative zoning.
Yeah, cumulative zoning.
Okay.
Which I
So
had
you
3
already-
businesses going into that building. When Mike
So-
told me that, I wanted to put just 3 businesses into it, switch it, and do just like Mike said.
So I'm gonna comment, and this is probably putting my neck out a little bit, but it's the end of my term, so I'm not really worried about it. This is where I'm with you on this, because we've had a business owner who has done this before. It wasn't Mike, but this is where we're getting into, if the standard's already been set and there's already been a variance, we have to do something, so we're gonna work on it. That's what I can tell you, but I totally get where your perspective's coming from, because I would think the same thing.
Yeah, when I came to that meeting, I told him, bro, I could put my truck in there right now. I had a mechanic, everything. I was gonna just open up the door for a mechanic spot right now. You know how much money I done lost on mechanics? Changing tires, working on semi trucks. The reason why I want that, you're right off of 30, and right there at the you're downtown. Every semi truck comes through the downtown. I done lost thousands of dollars so far, but I couldn't get nobody to see that when I came to that meeting.
Well, I can tell you that I heard you and I didn't not see you. It's just that there's been some issues with the CIC and how meetings are being conducted that I'm not willing to participate in if they're not gonna do it right. So I think it needs to be done right.
I think it should be shut down and restarted. I've talked to Brandon about it. I set it up like a big inner city CIC board.
Yeah, they're different. That's technically not called a CIC, it's called something else. I can't remember what it's called now. It's not the same, but it's similar, but it's not the same. But Metropolitan something.
But that's the thing,
But-
if you're gonna run a CIC, it needs to be ran like a CIC, not made up laws and made up factors.
Well, we've had people resign, we've had meeting notices not posted, there's been no traction, or I haven't seen any schedules of what is to be discussed. They call it a pseudo-government agency because it's established by law that the officials in the government are supposed to be participating in it. But it's also part private because it's technically separate from the city, so it's this
And that's
weird-
why it's so messed up, and that's why Bill Stucker came to me. It was like, James, like when Frank Hauser did what he did, asked me, and then he came up here and spoke about the buddy system. And I said, hey man, I felt offended by that. And he explained it to me. He's like, no, have you looked at some of these boards? The mayor put his people on there.
They do get appointed by the mayor.
Yeah,
There's
and that's exactly what's going on in the CIC. And Truca tried to say, hey, James, calm down. There's no calming down. Like, bro, you're
James-
pushing out my business.
You wanna do the appointments, run for mayor. It's part of,
No.
it's written into the law, man. I can't change
No,
that.
I don't know. If anything, like I said, I will sit down with Brandon, show him what I found on the CIC, and he rewrites it and make it officially like the big inner cities, like Cleveland, Mansfield, Cincinnati. Like I've talked to people that's been on these boards.
Well, and Brandon and I have had discussions that when he found the original, what is it called, Brandon? It's not called, there was the legislation that the ordinance that we passed to establish the CIC. What was I can't think of the document that I'm thinking of.
Articles of incorporation.
Thank you. The articles of incorporation weren't written by anyone here, so the problem is we have to get a cohesive group together to actually work together and someone take the reins and the lead on it and what it took to succeed.
Like Tommy, when I talked to Tommy about it, Tommy's like, James, why don't you have the mayor Truca put you in it? Hell no. You're knocking me out of what I want to do. Like, I
Right.
came to Mike and told Mike about a good idea that I want to do on Spring Street. But I guess it's already sold out. So now I got to find another piece of property the size of the one on Spring Street.
So what I'll say is that, you ever heard the phrase,
They just took down the sign, Mike.
James, you ever heard the phrase, sometimes we pay for the sins of the father? We've inherited this. I'm not discounting you. I want to help you. So do you have my email? Because you've never reached out to me.
No, I don't have nothing. I ain't even going to sit here and lie. I ain't got nothing for nobody up here. Only one I have is Kevin because I tried to buy insurance off of him.
So, we have a contact directory page on, the website.
Yeah.
My email and my phone number is there. You're welcome
Alright.
to text, call me.
All right, I will.
Okay.
Alright.
And then we'll work on this.
All right. bet.
All right. Any more public participation? Chris.
don't know if any of the rest of you had a chance to go out to Goodwill retail store. It was today. I totally missed my mind. Matthew Twall out there's reached out to us to have us come to that. I dropped the ball on that one. I didn't go, but I know when I went last year to this thing, I was really surprised at how much Goodwill does to help people, pick them up by the bootstraps, train them, get them jobs, get them placed somewhere else. They do an incredible job for people in this town that are struggling and trying to find good jobs and trying to find their place. And I want to apologize to Matthew for not making it to that. Mm-hmm. It is an incredible company for the size it is in this little town to have that. That's all I have to say on that one.
Yeah, I think they do a pretty, and honestly, for a small town, there's pretty good selection over there. I keep forgetting that it exists, unfortunately, but what was it that they have going on today?
Coffee meet and greet this morning.
Oh, meet and greet, okay. And it is on open projects now, but I know I keep saying this, but I'm hoping to establish and pass it off to whomever's next on economic development chair, to start announcing community events at the council meeting, just to give people an idea of what's going on. Other than that, any other more public participation? Hearing none, I'll adjourn at 6:29. Good evening. Tonight is the Thursday, November 20th, 2025, in the Bucyrus City Council, and it's the Service Committee.
Call to order Service Committee at 6:31. Members present: Sierra and Sherrick, Terry Spiegel, Kevin Myers, I myself chair. Any public participation at this time?
Yes. Did you print those maps I gave?
Did you get your map?
My name is Josh Keith. I currently reside at 300 Plymouth Street. I bought 2 lots on South Sandusky. I don't know if the parcel numbers are relevant or not. I've talked to zoning, I don't know how many times, but a lot.
Which lots?
The lots on South Sandusky where the storm drains run right through the entire
The
lot.
vacant lot that's kind of behind Blades.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So currently we have Superior Street that runs east and west through there that nobody, I can't see anybody ever using them, that runs back to an alley that I can't see anybody ever using them. Somehow the address north of that property had gotten, I don't know whether they just did it or had permits to put a blacktop driveway, which would be right in the middle of Superior Street on the road. Nonetheless, it's there. There's a driveway on the south side, which would be probably just guesstimating somewhat of a $50,000 driveway that is concrete that would run through the alley that would be to the south side of those lots. So I don't know whether these people just did this or they had permits that was given to them to do this. Nonetheless, I have a storm drain that runs directly through the north lot and partially through the south lot. I am trying to develop that ground, build a house. I'm a business owner, small business owner in this town. I'm a contractor. I pay all my contractor fees through the city, through the state, and I want to develop this ground to live in. I'm bringing my fiance from Ashland County to also live here and pay bills and pay taxes. And I'm having nothing but resistance. I even met with Mr. Starner because Mike couldn't give me any answers. Mr. Starner assured me that he would get with Jeff Dunn and myself. We would all sit down and have some kind of a meeting, if you will, on this. And They never got a hold of me, so 3 days later I called. He said they did have a discussion on the matter and that there was no funding for that, and I was not available to be present at that. Whether it happened or not, I have no idea.
Did you buy all 3 or just 2 of them?
Well, I have 2, and I'm going to purchase, I'm still in the process of purchasing the 3rd one, which will have to be split because yes.
So you own the top 2 right now?
Correct.
Okay.
That driveway is weird, isn't it?
It's a really, really messy out there. So,
You guys all have the map. You understand the green line that runs diagonal is what he's talking about.
This one here.
And then I'll let you finish and I'll explain what the rest
so nonetheless, no one knows when this storm/sewer drain, whatever it is, was put in. But nonetheless, if I'm not mistaken, it was grandfathered in, correct? Because there's no easement rights to this property. Nobody had the right to put anything in there.
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's my understanding. But nonetheless, it's there, and now it's basically been completely put off on me to have to pay to have that removed before I can develop that ground. I made I guess kind of like an offer. Can we split? I mean, I'm willing to pay. I'm willing to pay McKeevers to come out, do all the surveying. I'm willing to even buy the materials, and then we're going to be replacing all the sewer. And I don't know, I'd imagine some of the storm basins down that road this spring anyhow. So I don't think that it would be that big of a deal to go ahead and dig down Superior Street and cut that off and then reroute that straight down Superior Street, which would be then where the city wants it anyhow. And then they could have all the blueprints from McKeevers or whoever I choose. I was told maybe I cannot use McKeevers because conflict of interest, but whatever, I will go somewhere else. But all that would be turned over to the city. They're the ones that need it. I don't need it. I think other than that, the only other issues that I have would be I need to find out how to go about switching the zoning. Right now, that property is considered industrial. I am trying to get it switched to residential, which Mike might be able to help me with this. It would be R1, which does have some restrictions. I've already looked at those restrictions, and they won't hinder anything that I'm doing there. I plan on building bigger than what those restrictions are. So I don't think we will have any problems with that. Yeah, so other than that, I don't think I really have any other issues other than if this all comes about and we get all that done, no matter who pays for it or how it gets done, and there's a house there that has revenue for the city with 2 more taxpayers. Is it possible to talk to somebody about vacating Superior Street and those alleys since they're never going to be used more than likely?
Okay, so I went and met with Jeff Dunn today to get all the scoop on this.
Okay.
So I got a lot of information to pass
Cool.
on. Before I forget about it, you're asking about the zoning. When Robert talked to us about this Tuesday, that wasn't mentioned, so we didn't know that was one of your concerns. So at our next council meeting on December 2nd, we can refer that to the Platting Committee.
That's what I was told.
And then the Platting Committee can take care of all that and do the zoning change. The way that, and I think Mike may have already told you kind of how that process goes.
He did.
To talk to the local people around there.
Yes.
Nobody puts up a fight about it, it happens.
Right. And I was told it's probably going to be
but
an
lengthy,
easy.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, as far as the vacations, same thing. This is the first we knew that you had that concern. We can refer that. That's also through Platting, right, Jim? So we can refer that to Platting, see if there's any objection by any of the neighbors and go that route. So those two things, while they take stupid government slow time,
Right.
are both easy to do.
Okay.
As far as the sewer placement, and I'm gonna give you a copy of this, because I don't know if anybody gave you this.
I do not have a
This is
copy.
a
I've
new
seen
one.
it several times on the computer.
And I'll explain what Jeff explained to me today with what the colors are on here. So the green is your existing sewer that runs right through the northernmost of those 3 lots.
Correct.
And what he explained to me, and I'm gonna kind of explain some of this so the public also understands, even though you probably already got these answers, you cannot build any structure over top of that.
Correct.
You could pave a driveway, but if they need to rip it up, you gotta pay to pave your driveway again.
Correct.
So, but yeah, you can't build a structure, a garage, a house, whatever. So that kind of makes that lot unusable. The fact that you have 2 and gonna have 3 lots makes it a little easier for you, that you could finagle maybe stuff around it if that was the world's worst case scenario. So the red line that they drew on there is the suggestion of where this would be moved to, and that's what you're referring to as Superior Street, which was platted but never, it may have been a street way back before Bucyrus Blades existed, I don't know, but it doesn't exist now.
Right,
So
right.
vacating that is probably not gonna be an issue, unless, again, if we talk about the sewer gets put in there, I don't know how that
Well,
plays
could
into
we
it.
not just, at that point, have easement rights for the city
Probably.
to have that?
Yeah, I mean, that's more of a law director question but probably, yeah. So what Jeff Dunn has shown, if you look on the blue line that appears, the long blue line that runs along Sandusky Avenue, that's where, like you mentioned, they're gonna do that whole project next year where they're gonna replace the whole sewer. So what Jeff Dunn says the city can do, you see the little blue circle, that would be a manhole catch basin area
Yes.
for you to tie into.
Okay.
So the city would eat that cost, but it would have to wait until this project. We couldn't go out tomorrow and do it. Because of the roads already gonna be torn up, and he said the city would bear the cost of that addition.
That basin.
Yeah,
Which there is already a basin sitting there, so that would just be.
in the spot where he drew the circle. 'Cause he said there had to be something else put in for you to tie into.
Okay, well, there is a basin there now, where the green line runs, there's
Yeah,
a
where you see the
manhole
CB
sitting in the middle of,
Yeah,
I
CB
guess
is
what would be
catch
the.
basin, so this looks like it's a little bit further north of the current catch basin.
Okay, so then they would be moving that further north.
So he said then the red line is 226 feet, I believe is what he
Okay.
told me. He said that part would be on you. But you could do that at the same time when you could subcontract with the same company while they're already there and have all their equipment there, and it'd probably be pennies on the dollar compared to doing it today, for you to bury that 226 feet. So he said you
And
would
do
bear
we
that
know
cost.
at this time who has that contract?
No, that will get awarded, and the state is actually awarding that contract, right? Or are we?
I do believe, yeah.
But once that's determined, we put you in touch with them, and
Okay,
I'm sure if I'm the owner of that company, I'm gonna say absolutely yes, I'm gonna take your business.
Right.
While we're already sitting there, we'll do a little more digging.
right.
So again, that should be pennies on the dollar to any other time to do that. So the city would be responsible for the blue portion on the.
Correct.
And we would add, and I don't know the technical name of what that thing is that you're gonna tie into, but we would handle that. You would handle the red portion. Jeff said that when that time comes to make all those decisions, you would have to sign a contract with the city, probably something that says, yes, I pledge that I'm going to do this part, and then you'll do our part, so that we both agree
Yeah,
of what's gonna happen. In the meantime, all the other stuff to be worked out, like vacating the street, getting an easement for that, is stuff that between platting and legal. they
okay,
could
and
work
then
out.
we'll just bring that up in the next city
Yeah,
council.
so we'll refer that at the next regular council
Okay.
meeting to make it legal to talk about in these committee meetings.
Okay.
So, in a big nutshell, to kind of go over the whole thing, you would have to pay for that 226 feet of pipe to be put in. We would pay for the portion to tie into the new sewer that's gonna be put in. The platting of vacating stuff is very real possibility that we can take care of, and the zoning change is a realistic possibility we can all take care of. So it looks like, other than having to shell out money to bury 226 feet of pipe, it looks like it's all pretty easy peasy.
Okay, sounds fair enough.
We're at the mercy of the state of when that project's gonna happen. I believe Mike, are we on pace for like next spring, next summer?
I'm not sure.
Ish,
I know it's supposed to be next spring.
okay. And between his office.
And then I would just have to keep in contact or
we'll make sure you're fully aware of when
Okay.
stuff's happening, even as much as when the state determines who they're gonna hire, we'll help you get in touch with them.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah, sounds good.
I don't know if that's a 50-50 split of costs you're looking for, because I truly don't know.
Well,
what your cost is
I
gonna
don't
be,
really,
what our cost
I
is
don't
gonna
really
be.
know if it is or not either. I mean, I know that piping is super expensive. It's like
Yeah.
a 15-inch double wall. I do know that's expensive. I guess one of the things that Tommy had told me originally is that you guys probably just have it laying around extra from something. Nonetheless, I don't know if you do or not. I don't know if you would sell it if you did.
Yeah,
I
I don't know if we legally could.
Yeah.
But, so that's pretty much how it was explained to me, to explain to you guys of what we can do and when we can't do it.
Okay, fair enough.
But Mr. Me chairs the Platting Committee. He'll help me make sure we remember to refer all this stuff the right way at our next meeting, and Michelle will also probably make a note to not let us forget about that in 2 weeks, so that we keep the ball rolling and don't forget about
Perfect.
it.
Sounds great.
All of our phone numbers and email addresses are on the city's website. Reach out to any of us at any time with any questions or concerns, or if you just feel like somebody's forgetting about you.
Yeah,
All right.
sounds
Now,
good.
I do have a
Thank
question
you.
about Superior Street.
Yes.
Isn't that already been vacated? Isn't there a smokestack sitting in the middle of where Superior used to be?
There, as my knowledge, there's nothing there, and as my knowledge from Mike told me, it has not been
That might be down on
vacated.
the Walnut Street side.
Yeah.
This is,
Just
he's talking about,
grass.
this is the section behind
Yeah,
Blades.
it's just
off
grass.
of-
Oh,
So you can
okay.
see there's what Superior Street was, and there's nothing here, so it may have been vacated up here,
Right,
where it used to go
gotcha.
through to Walnut. And then you got the alley, he's talking here, that runs north and south, and then another alley
Yes.
that runs east and west. So
Mm-hmm.
you can see that person's already, like you mentioned, built a driveway on top of and over. So, but we'll be able to research all that. and
Just
figure it
to,
out.
just to give a ballpark idea, I'm just going off of ADS's price right now. It would be approximately 45 to 5,000 for
26 feet.
200 and, well, it either comes in 10 or 20-foot
Right.
sticks. So you're looking at approximately $4,800 just for the pipe,
Okay.
for
And that's fair.
15-inch scheduled
That's
double
fair.
wall.
I am perfectly okay with that.
And Quinn's has excavators.
Well, I have a friend that's an excavator, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got my number. If you have any questions, get hold of me.
All right, Kevin. Yep, thank you, guys.
Yep.
So at this time, do we want to have legislation or make a motion to pass this on to full committee to get it to right?
I don't
Or
think
we-
we need anything, so, from talking to Jeff Dunn, we don't need to do anything until.
Until?
Once Mr. Keith determines he wants to do this, which
Right.
it sounds like he does, but I think he probably needs to get a little bit more information.
All right.
But once we get to that point, there would need to be a contract between him and the city of Bucyrus. It does not need to involve council. That contract could be executed out of the administration office, from what I was told today.
Well, good. Well, then, Mr. Taylor.
Robert Taylor, 411 Plymouth Street. First, just all of you guys that got on that to try to alleviate this in the timely manner you did, it's appreciated. But I want to talk about the principle of this. The city, I don't care how, when, why, or who did it, they've got a sewer line running underneath private property. Now, there's nothing there, but if they ever needed to access that, they got to go tear up somebody's property, and the property owner is going to be responsible to fix the damage. And here's a guy willing to split the cost to reroute the city's line on some land that's going to be vacated. And they're still asking him, telling him, well, shrugging their shoulders, oh, you got to pay for the 220 feet of pipe. Principally, this is just not right. I don't care when government did it. I don't care how or why they did it. They did it. This isn't, the private property rights are always ignored and stomped on by government. And this, how you sweetened it up, oh, well, we'll pay for tying in over here, that's fine and dandy, you should. But to me, my honest belief of this is, you should pay for the whole project. That's just my opinion. Now, I'm sure that zoning is gonna say, well, the state of Ohio says this, and legally this, that. Well, that's, legal and right are two different things quite often. And this here is a principle thing.
Can I reply back?
Yes, sir,
I don't
absolutely.
want to interrupt your time.
No, you're
Not
fine.
your timing yet tonight.
No, go ahead.
I'm just a messenger.
No, I understand.
went out
I'm not.
today, And I came back with what he told me.
Yes, sir, I understand.
With that said, you just heard the law director agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And guess what? In about a month and a half, you're gonna be one of the votes that maybe we can make that happen even further. And I don't think that we need to just say, well, this is what they said, we're done with it.
Okay, good.
I think we all have a lot more to learn on both sides. There
Okay,
might be
good.
valid reasons why we should do that. There might be valid reasons why we shouldn't, that we just don't know.
Absolutely.
So I'll guess what I'm telling you, I'm not done looking into this yet.
Okay, good.
But I think what we gave Mr. Keith tonight was enough answers for him to go home and sleep well tonight, thinking, I'm probably gonna get to do what I wanna do here.
Well, yeah, my comments were
And that's why
more
we
geared
were
towards
getting at least something to do.
just principles. The principle of what is actually happening. It's not just this community.
I'd love to find out when that pipe was put in. I don't know if we'll ever find out.
No, no one
We'll have to do
knows
some
from
research
my
to find
understanding,
out
but-
Who made, was it, maybe the property owner put it in? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a valid point. Thank you.
Yep.
And again, it's gonna be a contract anyway, he's gonna sign, to have to be partnership with the city to get that work done.
Right.
So the details of the contract's gonna be hopefully worked out in that.
Let me write it this time.
Break that off 210 Ethel Street. The city needs to do whatever they can to help this man. We got to think, there's going to be generations of families are going to live in this home that he's building out there. So think about that.
You know something cool? In a month and a half, you're also gonna be one of the votes that can maybe make that happen. Isn't that cool the way that stuff works?
It's very cool.
Yeah.
So see what we can do.
Hey, I just want to make a quick comment to that in regard to sewer placement. The Buffalo sewer in town is probably under over 100 houses. I mean, you have miles of sewer, sanitary sewer line running through town that is probably anywhere from a foot to 5 feet under people's basement floors. So, I mean,
So what's the point of, what's wrong with building on top of it now then?
because,
Zoning,
no, it's not zoning, it's engineering.
that's, okay.
But, the storm sewer out there on Sandusky is only a couple feet deep. So you can't build on a storm sewer that's only that shallow.
And Mike, ain't, fire, right now, the city's dealing with the Buffalo sewer up there, fire and,
James. Hey, James.
ain't that Buffalo sewer runs underneath that fire, that new fire and forge, ain't it?
No. Buffalo sewer.
No, that's,
That's why the guy come in and was, talking about how they gotta blow the sewer because the sewer runs underneath that building.
It's not the Buffalo.
I just know it's the sewer runs right underneath that
Well, it
building.
could be, but it's not.
I don't know what sewer.
no, that's combined sewer, I'm not sure what the number is, but there's a blockage in that line.
Yeah, that they're trying to dig out, they're just sending divers and everything else in. That's why I just checked.
So, yeah, it's more than under houses, it's under quite a few buildings here in town. But you have to think about, most of the sanitary lines were put in the ground more than 120 years ago. So,
Clarissa Slater, 3645 State Route 4. And to speak to the sewer and the line being shallow on one side of the city, not the other, in case anyone didn't know, our sewer processing, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, but the sewer plant is on the south side of town, and the elevation there is lower than the north side of town. And it, yeah,
sanitary sewer plants on the west side of town.
well, southwest, it's still south-ish. Compared to my house, it's south.
And Weston.
Everything is south technically from my house, but we just actually got sewer installed at our house and they had to go 13 feet deep. So that was extra cost on my family for that, but I get that we are dealing with some interesting things because of the Sandusky River. With it being on the southwest side of the Sandusky River, the sewer is actually going under the river. So I know there's a lot of things there, but principally, I think we have to start hearing people out, and this is not just for council, this is just in general, without making a snap judgment call about, and maybe I was guilty of that too, but I'm just saying, like, I think that's what is putting people off and discouraging development, is that someone wants to make it done instead of saying, let's see what we can do to help you, instead of like, nope, can't do that, can't do this, like, just feeling out the situation before we're shutting people down, because I think
That's kind of what we did today between
Right.
Mr. Me and me and.
Oh, I
Mr.
don't
Dunn.
disagree at all,
Yeah,
but I mean,
I'm kind of proud of how we did
yeah,
that today.
yeah, I don't disagree, but that's why I just wanted to give some background, that I know there's obviously problems with our sewer, but sins of the father, right? We have to figure out from the past, so, all right, thank you.
Mike, is that a sewer that runs over there or a storm sewer? Storm pipes?
South Sandusky?
Yeah, that they're talking about.
It's a storm.
That's what I thought. Okay. Thank
If it
you.
was a sanitary, it'd probably be another 4 or 5 feet deep.
I would think, yeah, okay.
See nothing else, we'll move on to what we have on the list next. Do you want to, Kevin, I know you already have a lot to do with this one too. You were busy this week.
Yeah.
Do you want to do AIP and?
AIP and AIG grants, both of these are for the airport project. And I went out and met with Kevin DeTrey the other day, and let me just give you a couple things that he filled me in on. As we know, normally it's a 90% federal government, 5% state government, and 5% local share for the projects out there. So what they did was the state dropped out and said, we're not doing it this year, we don't have the money. And so the federal government, instead of sticking that other 5%, the federal government picked up 5%, so now the federal went to 95. In the meantime, the state come back and found some other money and says, okay, we're back in. So guess what that means? 0% to us for the next 2 years on the projects out at the airport. So these two projects are not going to be any money spent by the city of Bucyrus, but we still, as we have done over the years, we still have to facilitate, going out, getting the bids, getting all that, and managing the project, even though we're not paying for it, or typically we pay the 5%. So the AIP grant, which I'll get into in a minute, that is to pay for the terminal apron design. The AIG grant is for the terminal parking lot. So the AIP grant, the overall total cost of the project is $75,000. Again, 0 to us. The AIG grant, total project cost is $196,210.12. Again, 0 to us. But what they need from us, and this has a deadline of, there's a deadline somewhere in here, by the end of the year. So we need emergency legislation, and what we're asking for is a resolution that authorizes the service director to, let me make sure I get the wording right here, to submit the grant application. So I would like to make a motion.
As emergency.
I would like to make a motion requesting emergency legislation that authorizes and directs the service director to submit the AIP and AIG applications.
I'll second that.
Motion passes.
No, you gotta vote for it first.
Vote for it first, sorry. I'm sure everybody's gonna vote for it.
All in favor?
All in favor? Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Just did it too fast. Kevin, it's like zip right through it.
Yeah. I got in trouble for going too fast.
Oh, y'all have it.
Moving on to, Airport Commission again, and we're talking about the airport still.
Okay, so Tuesday we had it on the thing to appoint our person on the airport, but I said I wanted to table that because what I want to talk about tonight. And that is Chapter 137, which talks about the creation and the duties of the Airport Commission. The last updates to that were 1975. So as we talked about this earlier in the year in February, and then we kind of dropped it, and I want to talk about it again. The terms were to have been staggered. Okay, so the mayor hands me a sheet the other day of the 5 members of the commission, all with their terms ending December 31st of this year. Okay, so, and then we had some other issues that that came up that I kind of want to just address a few things. Not to say that these are all things that are happening now, but if we're going to make some changes, I've talked to a couple of the airport commission members and some things that could help. So what I'm proposing is that we request a legislation that makes a couple changes to Chapter 137. One of the changes is that we put, it mentions the staggered terms in there. I would like to actually say, the mayor has 2, council has 1, the chamber has 1, and then the 5th one is voted on by those other 4 members. I would like to put it in there that, and I'll get to it in a minute, but just hypothetically, one of the mayor's appointments ends in even years, the other ends in odd years. The council's ends in odd years, the chamber's ends in even years, and the other one, so spell it out so we know that there's always 3 one year and 2 the next, and 27 years from now, when nobody knows what's going on, they can look back at that and know who's responsible for appointing which ones, and not knowing who's expired and who's not. So I'd like to do that. So what I'd like to do is when we make the reappointments, I'd also like to include that in this legislation that I want to ask for, that does reappoint everybody who's on there. Now, one of the mayor's appointments is no longer able to continue due to health reasons. The mayor has another person he wants to put in that position. I'll let the mayor name that person, who that is. But everybody else that's on there, Kevin Locke is appointed by the chamber. We already have that letter in our possession that the chamber sent requesting him. Council appointed Lynn McKeever. I would like for a council to reappoint Lynn McKeever. And then the mayor has his 2, and then Dave Shealy is the one who's elected by the other members, and I would assume they would bring him back on as well. So what I would like to do is have the one that is voted on by the airport commission just start on January 1st with a 1-year term. Then the mayor, one of his be a 1-year, and one of his be a 2-year term. And then the one that we do for council be a 2-year term, since that starts at the start of our next new council term. That way that one's always voted on by a new council, not halfway through. And then the last one by the Chamber of Commerce, take your pick. It could go 1 year or 2 year. I would say a 2-year. So then you've got 2 1-years and 3 2-years. That staggers them. And then I would also like to include in the legislation that the Airport Commission will hold an annual election of officers, and that the president of the commission is responsible to report to council at least on a, whatever you want to say, quarterly and semi-annually or annually. I don't care.
At least annually, if
yeah,
not,
I think at the
semi.
worst an annually, but I don't know that when they're not building the building, they're probably not near as busy, and they don't need a quarterly report. So I would suggest just ask for an annual report by the president of the board be given to council. And I think that fixes a couple of problems. It gets the terms back to staggered. It keeps everybody on the commission to let them continue working on the project they're working on.
Aaron?
I was gonna say that it's only this time that it's 1 year versus 2 year, because.
Yeah, they're all 2-year terms, but we need to pick 2 of these out
Right,
that they're only a 1 year. And at the end of that
To get
1
it.
year, they can be reappointed for a new 2-year term. Does that make sense what I'm asking? Okay. So you can take what I just asked for and put it into legislation?
Sure.
Okay, so I, Mr. Chair, would like to make a motion requesting legislation, setting forth the staggered terms, of which I just mentioned, the one who's appointed by the Airport Commission and one of the mayor's 2 appointments to be 1-year terms just right now, and then at the end of that 1 year, they'll go to a 2-year term. And then the other mayoral appointment, the council appointment, and the chamber appointment all be 2-year terms, all starting January 1st. So I'll give you that so that you know what to write down for that. Also asking for it to include annual election of officers, at least a annual report by the president of the Airport Commission. And then lastly, it doesn't stipulate, and I know that they are meeting regularly, but I think it should say in here that they are required to meet at least quarterly. So that would be my motion.
Did you want to also add in the service?
Oh, yeah, so if I could just ask a question. I also would like it worded that the service committee chairman is an ex officio member of the committee, therefore always told when there's meetings and welcomed at the meetings, which he is anyway. But in the future, when we get the next people on there, I would like that person to just be considered to be at all the meetings, even though they're not going to have a vote. That way, when we are voting on things here in the service committee, there's more understanding and knowledge of what's going on.
Can we put on that legislation also Lynn's name in there?
No, because once chapter 137 is rewritten, council has to appoint Lynn, but I didn't want to do that until we got this solved.
Okay.
So all we have to do then, so that's my motion. I'll stop there.
I'll second Kevin's motion.
Is this?
Go have a second.
And this is also as an emergency so that we can get this new commission, since there is an ongoing project, have them all able to be effective January 1.
So that's your motion.
Yeah, my
Would you
motion
like to
requesting,
restate it?
my motion's requesting emergency legislation, setting forth the staggered terms in the manner which I just suggested to you.
22211.
Yeah.
Do you want
but
this
then
as a-
They're all 2-year terms, but these two only have 1 year until they have to go for reappointment.
Kevin?
Annual election of officers,
Sorry.
meeting at least quarterly, and an annual report by the president.
Excellent.
As an emergency.
Should we, as emergency also, should this be just an amendment, or you just want a whole new amendment to 137?
Yeah, but I'm
Or
requesting
hopefully-
legislation that updates chapter
Just
137 with those
amend it,
changes.
yeah,
Yep.
okay.
We have a motion.
Do we have a motion? We have a
I
motion.
just made the motion.
All in favor?
All opposed? I mean, all in favor?
Aye.
I skipped right on to that, all opposed?
Okay, my next question,
Been a fun
when you're
day.
asking about that, we
Motion
had that
passes.
conversation the other night during the council meeting about which appointments require legislation and which appointments don't. And as an example, I looked up, we were talking, I'm only gonna mention this, we're not making a decision, so it's okay if I talk about the Board of Zoning Appeals and the Board of Building Standards.
Go for it.
The reason I wanna bring that up is the paperwork that I found that was from 2022 when was presented to council of all the people that got appointed to different things by council, it says legislation is required on both of those two. Now, the other night, Brandon said, no, legislation is not required, we could just do it by a voice vote for Mr. Stucker. He's actually right, because I went back, the Board of Zoning Appeals is set forth by Bucyrus Codified Ordinance 1141.03. The Board of Building Standards Appeals is set forth by Codified Ordinance 1319.10. I read through both those. Neither of them say that you have to have legislation to appoint people. The Airport Commission is the same way. It doesn't state. Is that something we should be looking at to amend into these things to say when somebody's put on whether it requires legislation or not?
Yes, it should always be in writing.
I agree. That's where I'm going with that.
Yes.
Does that mean we need to amend one more change on chapter 137 and also put in there that at the start of every term, and how do we do this when it's not just council appointing them? The mayor's making appointments. Do we just say that all appointments require legislation at the approval of council, or how do we do that? How are we doing that to cover ourselves? Are we only doing legislation for the council appointments?
All the appointments have to be voted on, don't they?
Voted on, but
Not legislation.
when the mayor makes an appointment to something like that, we just usually say, yeah, we're cool, we agree.
We should start
then
doing
where's
a
the written-
resolution.
Yes, that's what I kind
We
of
should
want.
start doing a resolution saying, yes, we agree and consent to this person, it's in writing, it goes in the books, anybody can go back and look at it.
Can I make another motion just to add one more thing, or do I have to start over?
Just amend your motion.
I want to amend my motion to also include some wording in there that stipulates that all appointments need to be voted on by council and approved by a resolution to create a permanent record.
I'll second that. Amendment.
Isn't that already a permanent record if we have it in the minutes, though?
Harder to find.
I was gonna say, you go find it.
Because that's honestly what I started. I was looking up that stuff with Mr. Stucker, because when I was leading the meeting, I didn't know if we needed legislation or not, or what the term was, because it didn't spell it out. And I just think we need to create paper trails so that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 years from now, the people that are sitting in our seats know what in the hell we were talking about when we created this stuff. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would just like to point out I
Opposed?
wasn't born.
Motion passes. Any open projects anybody wants to talk about today? Seeing none, I want to thank Kevin for all the research he's done, because this was all thrown at us this week, 2 days. And also Mr. Mee for the research and work he's done with this. this week. I really appreciate everything everybody's done. For that, I'm going to adjourn at 7:09.
Back to order.
Service Committee back to order, still the same members present. I did skip public participation, that's because it wasn't written down here, so that's why I missed it. Anybody in public wants to come up and speak? 7:10 is going to come back to session.
Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. I agree with some of the things that were just discussed about changing Chapter 137. However, I wanted to add a couple things to this too. It seems like we're making appointments all the time and wasting a lot of time with appointments all the time. Why can't, and this will be a question for the law director because I have looked this up, how about that we appoint people or members to certain commissions or whatever, depending on who does it, and appoint them until they don't want to serve anymore, an unexpired term. But let me ask you this, or until they can't serve anymore for certain reasons or asked to resign under certain clauses. That way you don't have to reappoint, reappoint.
I can look into that, but at first blush, I think that we have to do terms because pretty sure the statutes that give us the authority to put these on the books say that it has to be for a term, but it's something I can look into.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we can adjourn at 7:12.
Good evening. It's Thursday, November 20th, 2025, and Bucyrus City Council Health and Safety Committee.
I call the Health and Safety Committee meeting to order at 7:13 p.m. Members present are James Mee, Kevin Myers, C. Aaron Sherrick, and myself, Vicki Dishon, as chair. First on the agenda is public participation. Anyone wishing to speak to the committee, please come to the podium and state your name and residential address.
Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. The only thing I want to point out is that my email that I sent is just my thoughts on what I was talking about to this committee. You guys can do whatever you want to. I just wanted to point out a few things about the legislation and some loopholes that I had seen in it. And because basically it was written by AI. So that's going to be my thing now, is I will submit things about legislation. Thank you.
Mr. White. Mr. White. Oh, okay. Since he doesn't want my questions, I move to table ordinance 37-2025. Yeah. Actually, not to table it. I move to send it back to council as it was presented, so making no changes, so it can go forward for its second reading.
We don't make any changes.
Is it the second or will it be its third reading? It'll be its
It'll
third reading.
Yeah, we make no changes, it'll be its third reading. I make a motion to send it back to council with no changes.
Second that.
So I'm not changing any of this?
Nope.
No, that you are. We're talking, we've moved on, sir.
Sorry.
Oh, this is, okay, 137, that's number 37.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotcha. You get a fair pass on those numbers. Yeah.
Okay. I'm still confused.
Okay,
What
so
about
we
it?
have a motion from Myers, second by Sherrick. Myers.
Yes.
Sherrick.
Yes.
Me.
Yes.
Dishon, yes. Motion passes. I guess so we did that in public participation, which is
Sorry.
fine. Nope, no problem.
I had questions for you.
I have one question for health and safety.
Sure.
The old Swan Rubbers building,
Excuse me?
the old Swan Rubber building.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
It was sold. There's a new owner. He was at the meeting Tuesday night. He's got great plans.
The one right there on Mansfield Street?
You know it.
Oh, see, I love
He's gonna fix all the fallen brick and everything.
Yeah, I was just wanting to know. I mean, I ain't never heard
Mr.
nobody
Me and
talk-
I spoke with him at the end of the meeting. He's got some pretty cool plans, and I hope that he is successful with at least half of what he had planned, because it sounds marvelous.
I was just wondering, because I never heard y'all say anything else about it.
shoot pool?
There you go.
Any more?
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
public participation?
Clarissa Slater, 3645 State Route 4. I know we've all heard about the incidences in Tiffin and Crestline, I believe it was yesterday. It's hard for me because I'm a mom, so I'm trying to keep my composure here, but I just want to say first that my hearts are out to the victims and families of the incidents. And this is, I just told Dorsey, this is not a comment on him. I think it's a systemic issue, but I do believe that we are acting too late in protecting people after they're hurt and not focusing first when they feel unsafe. That is how, the reason I'm bringing this up to the committee and not talking about it at council is because we have the criminal ordinances codes already an open project. So I wanted to clarify that so I wasn't breaking any rules. But the problem is that the public and those individuals may have felt safe one day, but irreversible harm happens the next. This is not gang incidents or random crimes. It's domestic, behind closed doors, inside families, where warning signs are often subtle and easily dismissed or only noticed after the fact. I'm not discussing these tragedies to say they could have all been prevented. I'm mentioning them because they reveal something that we all know that's quietly not being said. We don't take victims' fear seriously until we have something visibly happen to them that we can attach it to. And thoughts and prayers don't go a very long way in that incident. There's no clear resources, and sometimes not even a logged report about these types of incidents occurring. But there's typically warning signs. From my own experiences and from stories that I've been trusted with, I see a pattern. If it isn't already a crime, if no visible harm has occurred, the person is often treated as anxious, dramatic, emotional, or simply just unsupported. At the same time, a lot of people end up stop reporting because they don't, not because they feel safer, the issue is no longer there, but because they don't feel believed by the system, they don't feel believed by law enforcement. Again, this is not directly at Dorsey and the police department. I'm speaking in generalities to Ohio or to our current culture. And they don't feel like they feel believed. And when men show signs of emotional destabilization, deep insecurity, jealousy, anger, we rarely name that being emotional. We just, after the fact, end up saying that they were a dangerous criminal. But yet the victims, we sit there and we say, well, they're just emotional. They're just overinflating it. We need to do better for everyone. We need to do better for the victims who feel unsafe but can't yet prove it, for the children caught in high conflict custody or coercive control situations, and for co-parents who are often enduring ongoing fear without physical violence, and for aggressors, too, who may be unraveling emotionally, mentally, and long before it becomes a crisis point. What I'm saying is that male mental health is wildly unsupported as a society. Our Ohio law gives definitions and statutes, protection orders, but it doesn't give a local system for early warning, documentation of risk, for follow-up, technology-based monitoring, mental health referrals, or any crisis alert systems. That responsibility does not fall to the State House. It falls to communities that actually know the streets, the neighborhoods, the households. It falls to us to take accountability on this. And so tonight I'm asking council to consider 3 initiatives, not to duplicate state law, but to fill in the gaps that aren't supporting victims currently. Domestic violence response is my first one, and community ordinance, a local standard of how we get warnings, not just injuries, follow-up for repeat non-criminal calls or civil disturbances, written safety resources for anyone expressing fear, whether they decide to pursue charges or not, and a pathway for referrals for victims for housing support, mental health services, and also services for the at-risk aggressor when appropriate. I want to also note that Sam Caldwell is an excellent, dedicated, professional victim advocate, but he's only one person serving hundreds of cases for 11,000 residents. We can build a support system. That supports him and supports for early help in these situations. That's my first initiative I would like us to look at. The second is stalking, harassment, and technology abuse ordinance. Today's threats don't always begin with fists, arguments. Sometimes it's very coercive and intimidating through tracking people's phones, saving passwords, even drones, surveillance, the AirTag issue, people being tagged with AirTags and being followed around. I have personally a family member who's been a victim of that, and still it seems to tend not to be taken as seriously as it should. Ohio law requires repeat incidences before it's considered stalking. So we can define a course of conduct more broadly and offer support, but also step in before the second, third, 10th incident, or it becomes something more. It isn't about criminalizing families or people who are dealing with mental health problems. It's about having a safety plan and monitoring that we can implement without overburdening our current law enforcement and victims advocate. I'd also like us to consider a third point, which is a panic alert or crisis notification access. We put panic attacks. We probably put those in too, but we put panic alarm systems in banks and schools, government buildings. We have one, at City Hall, but we don't put it in the hands of people who stood before the judge or law enforcement and they say that they're afraid. A protection order is a legal piece of paper, but protection orders aren't walls or physical prevention of someone being intruded upon after a order is issued. Providing something like this, at least under an active court protection or a documented risk, would be not about assuming guilt or placing blame on the aggressor. It's about being proactive and having an initiative to have that person feel like they can sleep at night. None of these proposals, of course, are perfect. I'm open to suggestions, but it's really about moving from reactive to recognizing the risk, from waiting for proof, but instead of responding to patterns. Because sometimes all a person really needs to hear is that their fear matters, their concern about risk to their family and children matters, and they don't have to be physically harmed to be protected. That message alone could save a life. Sometimes the impactful work of government isn't loud or dramatic. It can be careful and preventative and closing gaps where most people never see or it never gets addressed until it's too late. I'm hoping you guys can consider it. Obviously, I don't have all the answers currently. I just hope to open a conversation to see if there's anything locally where we can bridge the gap. Obviously, people want to wave a magic wand and say grants, but we have the Community Watch that's reinitiating. I'm almost wondering if there could be a division of the Community Watch that we can support to address these people personally. If you don't know, Marion is the closest DV shelter. We don't have a lot of boots on the ground in Bucyrus, but with my proximity to the law director, I've heard him, not the specifics, but I've heard him discuss how many times he's like, I have a DV case, I have this going on. DV is mentioned, I feel like, almost every day, and I think maybe Brandon can speak to that more than I can, how prevalent it is, but it's systemic and it's infectious, and we just need to do something better to protect our families.
May I ask some questions?
Mm-hmm.
Procedurally, just so I understand, what are you suggesting either this committee and/or eventually the full council? What are you suggesting? What are you looking for? What are you looking for?
I don't know what administrative policies that there are, but I went through the criminal code. There is nothing in reference to DV in our ordinances currently about requirements from us as a government, either from the victims advocate or the police department. And I really think it has to be like a conversation between those two, but I do think that there needs to be some accountability to having actual ordinances on file. That way, when it comes to the actual procedure, like civil protection orders or people being charged with DV, these resources would be able to be accessed, or be accessed and like standardized.
All right, so while you were speaking, I was listening to a lot of the things you say. I like everything you said. And it's timely for a sad reason for some of what we've seen happen around us this week. But as you're going through your list of stuff, I'm thinking, that sounds like a high percent of that is stuff that our police department is already doing and our county court system's already doing. And I don't want to put him on the spot this evening, but I think if you would speak with Chief Dorsey, he could probably tell you a lot of the things. I know that handing out literature and information to victims of certain things, having what Sam does at the city level and what Jim does at the county for the victims advocates and things, phenomenal resources.
I don't disagree that Batter Police Department's doing well on that front. I think the problem is that when it comes to resource sharing and having that gap closed between the community and an official agency, I feel like a lot of that goes unutilized. I think there's a lot of people in the community that I personally would volunteer, you know what I mean? But I feel like that has to be supported properly through ordinances or policy that states that we have those types of resources
And I think
available.
they do have those policies downstairs, but, okay. I was just curious what your intentions.
This is an opener.
Not intentions, your expectations.
Yeah. It's something I've been thinking about for a while, but this was kind of like a catalyst for me to get the backbone to come up here and talk about it, so. All right, thank you. Oh, Aaron, sorry.
Sure. I was just saying, on the same note, there's so much more. Some people stop calling because what they need is help for their loved one, and what they get are charges, where they should have gotten mental help and listened to and just de-escalated, and ways to find out how to fix. They end up with charges, and then they have more problems.
And
that escalates it all. And then you've got the parents who have problems with their kids. And in this day and age, you have no backing, and the only thing they really need is somebody to say, okay, we need to do this before it gets escalated to the point where they're going to have a conviction or be removed from their home.
Right, and I think my expectation is for people to feel like they can sleep a little better at night, but also the expectation to solidify community, legitimize community help. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like to legitimize like a program or something where, with consent of the victims, like maybe a peer support individual could be.
Do we have anything currently where because I know with the courts for other things, we have, instead of going straight into criminal charges, they contact, community counseling or,
I think there's like diversion programs.
But that's after.
Right, so.
To get to diversion, you gotta get in trouble first.
Community counseling is so far bogged down, basically, you can't get anything done without a referral from the court. And even then, it takes.
And what I'll say is that there isn't good family counseling. There's not like, in looking for resources personally, there's not like.
There is, it's just they're all overwhelmed.
They're all, right, there's not enough is what I'm trying to say. So obviously I'm not a licensed social worker. I'm not pretending to be.
And that's the problem, we don't have it.
But there are mentorship type things that we could consider that may help. Obviously there would have to take some initiative on the private side, which I'd be willing to spearhead, but if there's some sort of similar to like a community watch where it's just watching out for neighbors, reporting it without having to be, put on blast, but at the same time, if someone is reaching out for help, having someone just to talk to, like a mentor or peer-to-peer type of situation. But I think that takes some legitimizing through the city to where, if, it's not like Dorsey's gonna call me in the middle of the night and say, hey, I have someone who had domestic violence. Like, they can't just release that information. That's what I'm saying, like having a process or a system that's legitimized through legislation.
Plus, me being a user is what I've been charged with.
Mr. Cady,
You gotta come up.
you need to come to the podium, please.
I don't care. My name is James Cady, formerly at 216 West Mary Street. Me personally, and that's how I met Dorsey. Me and Dorsey, he ran with my dad. He came to my dad's doorstep. I was in a physical fight with my baby mom on the phone, my ex-wife. He came to the door, and the only thing I said was on the phone is, Dad, tell put her on the phone, or else I'm gonna beat him up. Well, Dorsey thought I was speaking to my dad. As soon as they came into the house, there was no ifs, ands, buts, I was cuffed. The thing of it is, as a man with anger problems, a man that's dealing with mental problems, people don't realize, like, in all reality, I've come up here multiple times and said I want to run for council. I'm being serious. So at the end of the day, anybody can go and pull my record. From where I come from to now, you wouldn't sit here and think that he's this man. But in all reality, I go to counseling. I talk to a counselor. I do all that. It's not being a man, being accused of that. It breaks a man. And then when it breaks him and he's going through a divorce or going through anger problems and all that, you can't control it. Like, trust and believe me, Dorsey's a witness. And when I left my first wife, I was constantly had the police down at my dad's house. Jamie Carver, my dad called him because I was having a mental breakdown. I kicked the trash can, Jamie jumped out the way. He was like, bro, you know you can be charged with an assault. I said, for what? It's my house. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you want help, you don't want the help. It's when you go as a man that goes to counseling, that's been through dirt and came out on top trying to run a trucking company on his own and all that. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for you to go and talk to somebody. You ain't gonna take the help if you don't want the help. It's like if you banging drugs in your veins. If you don't want the help, you're not gonna go and get the help. Dorsey, am I lying? You have to have the drive and the will to go and get the help that you need.
Right.
Like my kid, like the oldest one that Dorsey knows me from, my oldest kid's mom. She just went and had both of her ribs broken. You know what she went and told the Marion PD? Oh, he didn't touch me. You know who made the police report? And now she's getting ready to get thrown out of her mother's house, getting ready to lose where she's staying at? My daughter. So as a man that deals with this and been through it, everything you said, it's like you might as well just give somebody a loaded gun and tell them, hey, don't shoot yourself. Because they're going to do it anyway. I promise you, man, because that's what's going on right now in my life. My daughter's getting kicked out of her mother's house for filing a police report to save her mother. And then she got told, if you tell, we're going to beat your ass. You see what I'm saying? So when a man dealing with the anger problems and all that, you got to understand, like, there's a thin line between having the government come in that the police already do, and then the courts do help you. But it's if you want that help. You can go here every day and say, oh, okay, I'm going to see you. You're going to go back in there, you can prop your feet up, laugh, cut up, carry on.
Mr. Cady, if I may ask, because I'm sort of getting that you're having a conversation.
No, I'm just saying.
Here,
I'm explaining as a man that's everything she says. You can go in, prop your feet up, and play these dudes. Then they're going to say, oh, nothing's wrong. They're going to give you a fine thing and everything. Oh, there's nothing wrong with this man.
I think what Mrs. Dishon's trying to tell you is there's nothing we can do tonight.
Right. I'm just saying, the government.
I want to get through the rest of
the
agenda.
government and all that, man.
My last comment is just that in that second bullet point, I kind of skimmed over it, but part of that accountability is just having a registry locally. So that is accessible, so if they're responding to calls, they can see that. I mean, some of the information's already there, but just having a DV registry would be great locally as well. And that's obviously for convictions after the fact. But to Katie's point, the thing that I understand, that's why I'm saying I'm trying to encourage a partnership with the community, because our peers are our greatest influence. And secondly, it would legitimize it if we had a program, because we could say, like he said, no one's going to take help unless they want it, but it takes someone who's been in a situation like James to be able to relate to somebody who has those problems without damning them before it's too late. It's about being able to recover that part of it too. So, if it became legitimized and put into legislation, the other thing is, to answer your point, Kevin, is that the magistrate or the judge could order that resource be looked into or used, but without it being legitimized, I don't think we can really
Yeah, and
utilize
that's why I
that.
asked the question, what are you hoping to gain through legislation? That's
Right, yeah, so I hope that better answers your question. Like I said, it's
It does,
really an
but it
opener.
doesn't.
It's still very vague, but it's
Yeah.
because I have to talk to key.
Yeah, and we can talk more
people,
later, so I can.
Yeah.
Chief Dorsey, were you wanting to speak?
Yeah, just. I have a problem with this.
It's good.
And Clarissa, I do not take any offense to whenever you were making reference to law enforcement in general. I take no offense to that whatsoever. I'm glad to hear that. There are numerous resources out there. Recently, I talked to somebody with the Crawford County Quick Response Team, Mary Jo wait a minute, I don't want to butcher her name. Carly, there we go. Thank you. They do deal with people who, if you're struggling with drugs and alcohol addiction, if suicidal, a lot of different things. And it doesn't matter the time of day. Like she said, you're not going to call me in the middle of the night. No, but these guys will answer. You can call them anytime. No, you're not going to get in trouble. People do hesitate and they don't want to call the police, especially whenever people have been suicidal before. They were afraid to call because they think, well, wait a minute, if I don't go with the police, they're going to arrest me and force me to go, which is a possibility. However, that's not our main objective. That's not what we're trying to do. And whenever I was sitting here, I may or may not have recalled something with somebody who's in this room who I may or may not have did a video with before, and we spoke on this topic almost verbatim. And Ms. Fox,
Recently.
we both spoke about NAMI. Am I butchering it?
Nope, you said it perfect.
Do you mind sharing the podium with me, ma'am, please, and thank you?
I do mind, but I'm going to do it.
Because obviously mental health is something that is very serious, and all of us take it very seriously. It's something you could be the biggest, strongest, toughest guy in the world physically to look at somebody and like, oh yeah, he has it together. But mentally you have no idea, So that's something what everybody takes very seriously. And whenever we did do our video, it was something I was like, you know what, I really like this lady. I like everything you had to say.
Thank you.
And I can't remember all of it because that's the reason why I didn't want to butcher.
That's okay.
All right.
Yes, Marion and Crawford County NAMI affiliate does have support groups for individuals that are in mental health crisis. And along with 988, which we talked about extensively that day, 988 is a resource number for people to get that direct, sometimes mobile response. Right now I know that they're trying to get those services here in our county for the youth. They've had terrible trouble with trying to attract and retain the mental health professionals in these smaller, more rural areas. That's one of the things we're really suffering with. And I think, I'm not misspeaking, community counseling could help to verify that some of the deep needs we have. I think that this committee might be instrumental in reaching out to Avita and trying to encourage more mental health services here in our county, because as it stands now, if there's somebody with mental health crisis that needs hospitalization or pink slipping, you're required to transport to those counties, to Ohio Health in Mansfield or Marion. And sometimes law enforcement will meet you at the county line, but not always. And if we're already struggling with resources and people to man our streets and to protect our people, how willing do you think they're going to be able to just take that trip to serve as an ambulette to take people for treatment that desperately need it? And then the families are disserved as well and don't get what they need. So there are things that we can do, and I think what Clarissa is suggesting is to help bring the community around so we can get those services, and it starts the conversation. And our courts can do some of the things that they're doing in Marion County too, to wrap around and to deflect away from the sentences and to get the people the help that they need if they have the ability to get those resources here. So I think connecting the community, getting the Stepping Up program that Adam H. started a couple of years ago, getting that more effective and working would definitely help to extend some of those programs to help all of us, from the service providers and the families and the individuals.
I think Kevin has a
So
question.
what I'm hearing, like I kind of said with Clarissa there, we've got all these great ideas. Who's in charge of putting all those great ideas? That's what we need to figure out. Where does it start?
That's the problem.
Adam
None of it's
H.
centralized.
I know.
Yes, yeah.
And I have to chuckle too, because when you say, well, number one, that it's law enforcement, more often than law enforcement, it's the private ambulance industry that's hauling these people that have been pink slipped. And I wish they only went to Marion or Mansfield, but in my time in that career,
Yes.
Toledo, Cleveland,
Yes.
Youngstown.
Columbus was closed. We went
So,
Cincinnati.
at 3 a.m.
I can't speak to where they are currently because I have not, I was involved with Marion County Stepping Up when they started in 2018. I know they started that here in Crawford County as recently as 22 or 23. I apologize, I was not part of that initiative. So that initiative was originally, I believe, funded and started by the state to enhance and start getting these partnerships in community more wrapped around so that we weren't duplicating services and we were better at providing exactly what is needed for
Can I
these
make a
situations.
request of you and of you? At the start of our next council term, I would like to propose that we put together an ad hoc committee that can look at this and see what we as a group, as a community can do for that. Would the two of you serve on that?
Absolutely.
When that time comes? And would you provide me with some more names? Think about it until
Sure.
the people that you would want to work with you on that so that we could do something. But in
Yes.
a committee meeting, it might not be the easiest
Right.
time to do it, where you guys can work
Understand.
on your own.
And in
So-
order to move forward, we could definitely do some more research to find out where those initiatives are right now.
I want to let you know that
find
I
out.
have an interest in seeing you guys be successful with this. And so if I look dismissive about, well, what can we do in this committee tonight? It's probably nothing.
Right.
But I don't want you to feel like it's nothing ever.
But awareness is the first thing.
Yeah.
If somebody throws you in the spot.
That's quite right. It all starts with awareness, so I appreciate that you're all willing to listen and that we're learning.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
And
So,
I'm all for working with this. The big problem, like I said, is that all the resources are so decentralized, and there's not much we can do, and there's really not much the court can do, because it has to operate within the bounds of the law.
correct.
And you can't get started in there until you get charges.
Which is.
And
Which is-
not the-
Dorsey and I have talked
Yeah.
about
It messes
mental
people up.
health and stuff, and there have been lots of times, especially recently, that charges come on my desk, or cases come on my desk, and I'm like, this doesn't need punished, we need to help them.
Right.
And normally we can come together, and Sam and I, or Dorsey and I, or the officer and I can come up with something. But it takes a lot of time and effort because each case is unique, and there's no centralized, go here. I mean, it's great, go to community counseling, but they are completely backed up. They don't come do the mental health evaluations very often when they
Right.
should.
To speak to your point, I totally get that frustration, and if we
It's
can
so
become
frustrating.
involved with the Stepping Up program, that program was specifically developed to unite all the community partners that are service providers so that we all understood what the other did. And it really made them more effective in providing housing, mental health help, the domestic survivors, that kind of stuff. So it really gave everybody an idea of what was going on, who could help do what, how we could deflect away, and the law enforcement and everybody, I'm talking dispatch, everybody, the social workers, the courts. So they had developed these things that would help deflect people away and get them the help that they need. And I think that if you talk to anybody that's participating in the AOT program down there in the courts, they'll tell you it works. It's doing wonders. So it just requires the Stepping Up program to become a little more efficient. Like I said, I don't know where they're at right now, but I could talk to Brad from Adam H to find out.
Gotcha. Well, one of the things that I would like to see is training in both the fire department and the police department when it comes to mental health de-escalation, mental health crisis negotiation.
They just had a CIT class and they do that.
Yeah.
For 40 hours, it's provided free by the NAMI affiliate.
And Dorsey and I have talked about that.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's something that we would.
And I've taken that course when I was a corrections officer. It's
Yes.
great.
So you're absolutely right. And while 40 hours may not seem like much, they do a great job training.
than nothing.
And it is, and it's.
So can you help set that up?
It's already been done. We do it twice a year down there at the Marion office. And I think, did you send a couple of this? Yeah, you sent a couple of officers. So, and that's the other thing, if the public is interested to know, if you have a mental health crisis or somebody, the teenager is tearing up grandma's house and he's violent and they don't know what to do, when you call 988 or you call 911, ask for a CIT trained officer. They will send that individual with that capability, that training, to come in, so they don't come in with guns blazing. They come in hands up like, what's going on here? We hear, so it prevents a lot of suicide by cop. It teaches those officers how to have a better approach, maybe not to come in with the sirens blaring and the lights flashing to further send somebody, into another crisis and psychosis. So they train them very well.
That's how it
Thank
should
you for being.
And just as a personal anecdote, and I'm not discrediting anything that anyone said here, I will say that working at a level 3 prison with individuals who were in for ag murder for their family, they say that they wish that they had resources before it got to that point. In its own sense, they are victims to the situation as well, and that's what I would like to see is accountability, but also having that resource there without shame, because that's the biggest thing, that if you don't, and to James' point, there's things that we can't do if people don't want the help, but having it there and having it centralized and being able to have those conversations, more of like a peer-to-peer type relationship than someone being a social worker or a counselor, I think that'll help bring the community around this issue as well. But yeah, so thank you for listening, and I know that got long.
Good thing we're going to have us an ad hoc committee about this.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you finally gonna let me have an ad hoc to manage all the ad hocs?
Well, I was gonna see if you'd be just a de facto member to all of them.
I'm the law director.
We have another public participant.
Yeah, Logan Beeman, Freewire. So I just looked this up just now. In shootings where the perpetrator killed at least one intimate partner or family member, 68.2% of the times they have a history of domestic violence. So I think knowledge is power here, just with anything. I know somebody online had an idea about a domestic violence registry, which Clarissa got into a little bit, but I know that's probably easier if it's a state or federal thing, but if we sit around and wait for the state or federal government, will it all look like Halloween decorations? So maybe that's something worth looking at from a community standpoint. Well, I mean, you can look up anyone's background now, but how many of us are doing that? When we start a new relationship, I mean, it's not happening. But if there was some sort of website that was dedicated just to that, maybe it's...
There are 88 counties.
Do you know what all counties and states to look at?
Hundreds of courts.
Sure. Just an idea. Looking for real ideas on ways to stop it. I just figured.
I bet you those ladies would love to have you on their ad hoc committee.
Thanks for volunteering, Logan.
Robert Taylor, 411 Plymouth Street. I'm just going to touch on the domestic violence thing. To say the state and the legal system is not properly going about this, I think is a little misguided. Domestic violence is the one charge in this country that the minute you're arrested for it, you are treated like you're guilty. You're disarmed. You're thrown in jail before you've ever been in front of a judge and found guilty of a crime. So, to me, the way it's handled, and this is from conversations with actual judges, it's violation of the Fourth and 14th Amendment, the way, and it's just never been challenged in the court. Now, I'm not saying that this is not an issue for what's going on or what things, the tragic events that do happen, but this is a cultural problem. This is not an issue for a local city government. This is a cultural issue we have in this country, and it's not about guns. It is mental health. But I don't see where this involves the city of Bucyrus. I mean, if all these programs and these ideas, they're noble, they're good causes, who's funding it? So are we having conversations that we shouldn't even be having on a local level?
Any other public participation?
Alena Fox, 401 Ridge Avenue. Sorry, I didn't say that before. I agree with your concerns, Mr. Taylor. Thank you. I will tell you that the Stepping Up initiative was something I believe that was funded by the state and given funds to Adam H. to get the collaboration going. So we're not adding services so much as we're empowering those that provide those services to do a better job at collaborating with community partners. And I agree, I think it's better handled as a county and then up to the state. But if the city gets some talk going to find out where it's at with Crawford County, I think that would be helpful. So.
Again, I'll stick by with the way the state handles it.
Right.
They're already violating the Constitution.
Right. But I think what we're finding is that some of these local services and the people that know, and because we know each other better here. I mean, you know the people, I'm sure Dorsey could probably tell you, some of the frequent flyers and things like that, people that are involved with, and people where there are issues. So being able to identify those people and get services to them is easier done on a local level than at the county and state sometimes. So that's where it's at. It's not really adding, it's just enhancing and making it more efficient for all involved. So thank you, though. Thanks.
And
Okay.
just I know this is the last thing, but to your point, Robert, I'm not saying that we should, I actually agree with you, because I think that's very much red flag laws. What I'm saying is that we're looking at it from a punitive standpoint, and I've seen the end result. You know, I worked in prison for 4.5 years. I saw the end result. What I'm saying is that there's things that we can do as a community with support of our city to bring those together. And you're welcome to disagree. I'm just saying that I just want to point out that I'm not saying to put more penalties on the aggressors.
Okay.
I'll talk about it in an ad hoc meeting.
I'm sorry, as the chairperson, excuse me, as the chairperson of the Health and Safety Committee, we're gonna have to put a stop right now, you know, and I appreciate, you know, the comments, conversation, but maybe y'all can get together after the meeting. So next on our agenda is our cybersecurity policy.
May I?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so House Bill 96, which was passed September 30th, 2025, which was when Governor DeWine signed it on June 30th. And it says we are supposed to have been complying by September 30th, so we're already not complying with state law. I don't know how, when, where, why, I don't care. We missed it. And I know Tommy's super busy with dealing with a lot of different things, but today, when he referred this Tuesday, today he came up with a sample resolution, which he pulled from Tip City, Ohio. And I don't want to just throw this together so quickly that we do it wrong. So what I want to do, I did some research on this today in all my free time. And there are five steps that I found that we need to do. There's so much that House Bill 96, I pulled the bill up today, 3,196 pages, this bill. So I didn't read it all, by the way.
Like a true politician.
But I'm going to vote on it and then read it later. No. So what I was able to find with doing some research today it has so many things that we have to do to comply with, and it's basically cybersecurity stuff is the crux of it. So we have to appoint a cybersecurity coordinator. This can all be done by policy. I don't know if we require legislation or if the city just has to do this. I think that we probably, to cover our tails, should have a resolution that directs the creation, because there's a couple things that we have to do annually, and I want to make sure they don't get lost in the cracks, because when you have a cyber attack, you have, there's two different types of ones you have to report. We have a 7-day window if it's a confirmed ransomware attack or a major breach affecting critical systems. You have 30 days to report it if it's for other cybersecurity incidents. That's just one of the requirements that we have to report things, right? And that could be in our water department billing, that could be in our fire department systems, that could be in our GIS. There's so many different avenues, and we've got all these different departments. Well, what we need is a citywide policy. You need a citywide, a cybersecurity coordinator that is responsible to know which all departments have the access that this could be. So that's step one, appointing a cybersecurity coordinator. Then you have to run a risk assessment. It's like a checkup on your systems. What data do we store? Where are the weak spots? I know they've been doing some of this work with COSI. A lot more needs to be done. Step 3, update your policies. This is where having that person in that position can look at each department. Each department probably needs to have their own policy as well as a city master policy on this. Step 4, practice with a tabletop exercise. We're not going to get all this done in a week, right? So step 5, train your people. There's a lot to be done. So rather than just pulling up, I'm not discrediting Tommy's work at all. He pulled up one, he found it, but there's a lot that goes into this. So it's going to take a little bit of research. So rather than requesting legislation tonight, when we just had this referred to us 2 nights ago, I think this merits another 2-week period of allowing him and others to do a little more research to find out exactly what in that 3,196 pages of the bill that we have to comply with do we need to do to have a policy, and even determine if it does have to come out of council legislation or not.
Randall got time to read that?
I do. 3,196 pages. It was like small print too. I mean, it wasn't
you'll have that
double
tomorrow, right?
spaced with short margins.
I have met work deadlines.
Yeah. So my point is, we've already passed this deadline of September 30th. So yes, it's important, but I don't think it's important enough to say, well, we better knee-jerk reaction and pass something that we don't even know what exactly is required of us, is my point. Is that a fair assessment?
It's fair.
So I move to table this to allow, table this and put it on our next agenda for the December,
I was gonna say, just keep it an open project.
first meeting in December, yes.
Do we have a cybersecurity plan already drawn up?
Nope.
No.
That's why they copied the one from Tip City to make it ours. So we got some work to do.
I've never even heard of Tip City.
It's down by
Dayton.
Cincinnati.
Down by
Cincinnati.
Between Picklewood and Cincinnati.
They have one of the biggest, coolest gymnastics meets every year, Tip City.
Right
Thanks.
outside of
Yep.
Okay, so we're all,
I'll be willing to help work on this though.
Cool.
there's no need for a motion, however.
Right,
just-
yeah.
No, I just would like
Okay.
to not discuss it any further tonight and put it on our
You know-
agenda for the next
Okay.
time.
We've been working with COSI for like weeks now.
Mhm.
I figured they would write one that we would adopt for as much as we're paying them.
That's probably an additional charge.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have listed minutes, which we have no minutes at this time to approve. Next, open projects.
I'm going to hand you the same list that I handed Clarissa and let you take this home and you do your research and you can, that's just the, you see the red
Yes.
check marks. TS is Tom Starner. BG is Brandon Gobrecht, not Brian Gerher. Said that earlier.
And who's green?
Green are the ones that we've all
They say
decided
keep.
are still in progress and need to be left on there.
Okay, thank you.
Share with me. Sure.
And then Michelle
Well,
never wants
we
to
as
see
a
it.
committee have to make decisions of what comes off, but yeah.
Any other open projects? Next, public participation. No,
It's not about that. It's not about that. I promise you it's not about that.
I will shut you down.
It is not about that, I promise. So I went to the OML with Kaylee, Brandon, and Jim, and we had a conversation.
Aaron was
And
there
Aaron, I'm so
too.
sorry, Aaron. How could I forget you? You were there. My apologies, I didn't see you there. You blended in with your chair. Anyway, Anyway, when we went to the OML, we had a conversation with DataServe, who is doing similar stuff as COSI does, and they offered a program for this House Bill 96 that was significantly more reasonable than what I've heard COSI's numbers be. And they basically sit down with administration and legislation, and they create that with us. That way, I'm sure, like, you know, Brandon, no one here is cybersecurity specific, but they're, I can't remember, I have a card.
And just for your information, Clarissa, the paperwork I gave Brandon's from a company that I've worked with in the past called Software Solutions. There are millions of companies out there that do this, but
They may have talked to us too.
Yeah.
There was a couple
Yeah,
of
the
them that
biggest,
talked to
yeah, there
us.
was a couple different ones, but what I was saying was that they actually sit down and help you guys basically
Create
fill in the
this.
blanks
Yeah.
of the requirements. That way,
yeah,
we're not,
that's exactly
Oh.
what I gave him from Software Solutions. Though.
either one. But just wanted to say that is a resource that we can use.
At a cost, right?
Promise.
Oh yeah. But I think we have to come up with a policy, and if you
Right.
can find a community that already has a good policy that we can mirror, that's where we would start.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Yeah.
Okay, any more open projects? Okay, well, I guess we were done with open projects. We were on public participation. Any more?
It's 8:02.
It's 8:02.
Seeing no one, I will adjourn the Health and Safety Committee meeting at 8:02 PM.
November 20th, and we're going to discuss, talk with Bucyrus City Council Platting Committee.
Platting Committee will come to order at 8:03. Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Vicki Dishon, Clarissa Slater, Aaron Sherrick, Jim Mead, Chair. Public participation. See, ew.
Did I already hand you? Never mind.
You want it?
No, I was going to tell you that I had one for you and it had the same notes on it.
I got it.
You didn't even say your address.
With the two incoming council members, would either one of them be available or would be interested in being on the zoning ad hoc?
We have an opening on the zoning ad hoc.
What time does it need?
Usually at like 3:30 in the afternoon.
I can't be here that
You can do it?
Right? So you're filling Vicki Dishon's shoes, you know that.
Yeah, I thought we all agreed that
Said you're
Vicki
filling
wasn't allowed
Vicki
to put
Dishon's
the
shoes. Yeah, I did that, but she overruled me.
I thought we all voted.
Nope.
Do we have to get a resolution?
I think you can force performance, Brandon.
Okay, no public participation. We have minutes from the June 26, 2025 committee meeting. Anita, how are we doing?
If I may,
My fault.
just give a little background information. We have the minutes for June 26th and also for July 8th. And those minutes they were presented at the July 10th committee meeting, but they were held at that time for the committee to further review. But they then fell through the cracks and were never put back on subsequent agendas, so that's why they're on here now. So I will make a motion to collectively approve the June 26, 2025 and July 8th, 2025 committee meeting minutes.
I can't do that. Hold on. I have to abstain from the July 8th because I was not in attendance.
Okay, so then I will amend my motion. You want to do them separately? Is that what you're getting at?
As long as we have 3 votes, they still pass.
Okay.
Okay, so my motion's okay.
And I seconded it.
Okay,
Vicki?
yes.
Clarissa?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
And I abstain.
Okay.
Motion passes.
Yep.
Open projects. What do you want to do here?
Well, I thought we were
Gonna send everybody
deciding.
else and-
I handed him that copy for this committee.
For
Oh,
plating.
well, you do whatever you want. I'm saying, I mean, I don't have a copy of anything in front of me, and even if I do, my other papers are at
At
home that
home.
I've already worked on, and
So I'm going to take a picture of this, then after
Send
the
it to everybody.
meeting, I would like to give it to you.
thank you.
Perfect. That way I have a copy and you have a copy, and if you guys want one,
And you're doing the same,
You can
right?
throw it in an email, or
You
you
made a
can picture it in
copy.
an email.
Yeah, I took a picture of it.
sure.
Thank you.
So, public participation. Seeing none,
8:07.
we're done at 8:07.
Good evening, it's Thursday, November 20th, 2025, and let's hear from the Bucyrus City Council Public Lands and Buildings Committee.
I'm calling Public Lands and Buildings to order at 8:10 PM. Members present are Chris Moritz, Clarissa Slater, Terry Spiegel, and myself, Sierra and Sherrick, as chair. First up, do we have any public participation? Okay, seeing none. The next on here is the minutes from March 20th, 2025 committee meeting.
Can I come forward on that?
Yes, ma'am, please, and thank you.
Sean, 1108 Hillcrest Drive. Just as a matter of explanation, the March 20th committee meeting minutes that you're looking at tonight, those were placed on the April 24th committee agenda, but due to a lack of quorum, no meeting was held, and again, they were never put on subsequent meeting agendas to look at, so that's why you have them tonight.
Vicki's been wonderful. She sends me lots of stuff and lets me know what's going on, so I'll forward that on to you guys.
Oh, yeah, no. All right, now, my only problem with these minutes is, does this need to be one that needs to be signed off by the members that were a part of it?
Didn't we do that?
Or,
Are you just missing one or two?
well, this was
Two.
Zion Hickman, Chris Moritz, Kevin Myers, and myself, and Zion was absent that night. So Kevin Myers was still on
Yeah.
Public Lands and Buildings at that point in time?
Wait a minute.
Are you on the right one? March 20th?
Yeah.
He was never on it.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I
he
filled
was.
in when
He-
Mrs. Shireman
he
left
was
council
when-
until
Until Clarissa
April
came.
you
1st.
came on.
Okay.
Okay.
But these March 20th minutes, the members that were present were Christopher Moritz, Kevin Myers, and C. Aaron Sherrick.
Yeah. But that committee was, I mean.
I would be
200
happy to
members.
sign yours if that helps you pass them.
Okay, so you guys already have somebody who's willing to say yes. That was present, so if anybody wants to vote on them, that would be amazing.
Wait, are we just gonna, shouldn't you three just sign it since Kevin's not on it anymore? I don't think we can approve it because we weren't there, right?
You can approve it, but if you don't want to, then we can sign it and have full council approve it, but you can't approve it. Correct.
Okay, I'm fine with that if, if he's endorsing it, I'm fine to make a motion to approve the March 20th, 2025 committee meeting minutes.
Okay, so we have a motion from Ms. Slater. Do we have a second?
Second by me.
A second from Mr. Moritz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, half of you guys weren't, that was what we were just talking about. So I'm gonna guess that we have one abstain, but that means motion passes.
Okay.
All right, so do we have anything on the open projects we want to speak about tonight, or are we just gonna worry about that after we all look at the changes?
I do not.
All right, that sounds great. Any other public participate, oh wait, I take that back, I have one thing. So it's been brought to our attention about 5 million times that the city does now own the skating rink. Would we want to place that in the CIC, and if so, we need to have a motion come from this committee to have legislation to send it to the CIC.
I will make a motion to send it to the CIC.
Okay, so we have a motion from Ms. Slater, Scheffler Slater, well, that was backwards,
It's all right.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
With a second from Mr. Spiegel. Do we want to do individual vote?
I have just discussion on it. I reached out to the partnership and also via them, the land bank. They were the land bank was appointed by the Crawford County Commissioners. I just did it, County Crawford. They were appointed as the lead authority on a demolition grant that went unused because they were under the impression that the land bank had to have the property to issue the grant, but they can be a pass-through. So I think that we probably need to be a little bit more active in that situation, because if we could have got that, it was like I feel like $1 million grant. There could have been a possibility of demolishing the YMCA. But the problem is that there's not a really good line of communication there that we need to work on. My concern is that we're just holding onto a property with no plans. So I would think that leaving it to have that option to be put into the CIC is fantastic. I just wanted to explain that I'm not against if they're wanting to tear part of it down as a parking lot or what have you. I do know that there's been interest from Mr. Frizzell in that property. I just think we need to be utilizing our resources instead of just having it sit and be dilapidated, so.
Mr. Myers, if you'd like to talk, can you come up to a microphone?
I was going to ask, but I think she kind of said something, so I'm going to.
All right. Awesome. So we have a motion, we have a second.
And my whole thing is that with the CIC, this at least gives them an option. So it's not like it has to happen today or tomorrow. It's just,
right.
And no stone unturned is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So I'll just go individual for the vote. Stephanie Slater?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel?
Yes.
Mr. Moritz?
Yes.
And I myself am a yes, so that motion passes. So we would like to have the legislation, have that sent to the CIC. Awesome. Do we have any public participation? Mr. Myers?
Yes, I have a comment.
Sorry, Kevin.
I already called Mr. Myers. If you can wait for your comment.
I'll let him.
Okay.
He might have information that I might have questions on.
Just to let you know, Aaron, the city has owned that property since July 22nd of this year.
Kevin Myers, 421 West Oakwood. Okay, if the council votes to send this to the CIC, a couple questions I have. You also voted to send the North End Fire Station to the CIC.
That was already passed. That should all.
Right, that's not happened yet. Is there a holdup with that?
I think I can clear, well, I guess I'll let Brandon clarify.
So, the CIC has no money.
Yep, that's where I'm going.
Yes, the CIC has no money, and we need, at minimum, 2 insurance policies, one for the board members and one for the CIC for liability purposes. And if we have those those properties put in the CIC is responsible for upkeep, liability, taxes, all of those things that they don't have the money for.
That's where I was going with I knew the answer to the question. I was putting it out there so the public knew. So if you do the same with the YMCA building, the same thing happens. I know the concept was brought up at some point. Is there any properties that we can dispose of quickly to get some income to allow the CIC to purchase that insurance? I know that question was asked, has it been answered? Has it been looked at or investigated?
So my understanding is there's only one person that has a cash offer for a building that the city currently owns. Other than that, the plan is to list the North End Fire Station with, I think, Katona Realty. He came to the meeting and talked, but can't do that until the CIC gets it, and we can't do that until we get insurance.
I get it. So that was my question with this. I didn't want to have a similar situation. Now, I'm going to ask the next question. The fact that the request for legislation has already been made and passed by council on the fire station, should the same thing happen here with this piece of property, are you just using your authority just to hang on to actually enacting what the legislation told you to do because of that? And is that okay to do that? And I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I'm asking, is it okay to allow that to linger and continue until such time the CIC can afford to pay for the
Yeah,
insurance?
it's perfectly fine.
So
I
if
did
the
put in
same-
a time frame to make sure that the transfers happen.
Yeah.
The intent is to get them transferred, just not right now.
If the same thing happened with this building and you were given legislation to make the transfer, but you're holding on to it for those reasons, then you would again just make that actually officially happen once you had the finances. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Just an additional comment, because I know I'm about to probably address what you're gonna talk about. There was a interest in, rent to own? Was it rent to own?
Lease contract.
Lease land contract, for the North End Fire Station. There was one individual on the board that was vehemently against that. However, I don't think it's bad because it would give us seed money for the insurance policies that we have to have. It would be it'd be equity in the CIC that they have property that they can lean against.
And we were told the only way we could do a lease to contract was if we put it in the CIC.
Correct.
Which is where we hit a
So,
wall.
and this is no comment to you, so I'd say this about any person, any prospective person. I would think that it would be good business, because if you do default, we don't miss out, and the property's still ours, we can still sell it. It's better than sitting there with nothing, in my opinion. Again, CIC is having some major issues. That's a CIC issue directly. We gotta get that straightened out.
James Cady, Form A 216. Actually, I've talked to her about it. The CIC actually has $97,000 the city owes the CIC. They falsely expend the money in parking lots. If you look up the rules on the CIC, they are not allowed to use the money unless it's for, if a business loans it, and they can only pay up to like 15% of it. This is what I'm saying. When you really dig into these CIC rules, that money was spent.
Okay.
It should have never been depleted. This is what I'm saying. I've showed Tommy Sterner this, and I think I tried to talk to Brandon about it, and Brandon said he'd dig into it deeper. But that's what I'm saying. If you go by the bigger inner city things, the city owes the CIC $97,000.
Okay, no, that's, the money, the way ours is set up, the money goes back to the city. It doesn't, no, it's legal, it's the way it's set up. But in the meantime, this isn't, we're now out of this conversation into a whole different conversation, because the CIC isn't public lands and buildings specific. So
But see, this is what I'm saying.
we're out of, we're not public land, this is only public lands and buildings.
This is what I'm saying, though. And the CIC, this is what I was just trying to say. The CIC actually has money because the city.
You've crossed back out of public lands and buildings, and this committee is public lands and
They
buildings.
can't talk to you about it because they don't.
Thank you.
We don't own the building anymore.
Who told you?
Have to
All
go
right.
to the CIC meeting.
Do we have any other public participation for public lands and buildings?
No, we still own the building. It hasn't been
Oh,
transferred to CIC.
okay.
It hasn't went over yet.
So,
Spoken correctly.
we do not have any more public participation for public lands and buildings? Then I will adjourn at 8:22, thank you.
It is Thursday, November 20th, 2025, and the Bucyrus City Council Finance Committee.
We're to call the Finance Committee to order at 8:25 PM. Members present are Kevin Myers, Chair, Vicki Dishon, Chris Moritz, James Me. Also present is the Auditor Kaylee Lewis and the Attorney Brandon Gobrecht. The first item on the agenda is not an item we need to discuss. That would be that lateral sewer, because there's no expense being incurred at this moment by the city. So that I'm going to leave that in open project for right now, just in case we need to talk about it later when we get into the finances. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, but we're just going to leave it as open project, and it does not need to appear on an agenda ever again. Local government services gap conversion.
I spoke with our local government services representative today. She said to expect a letter like she typically gives us in early December.
Guys, can you keep it down? I can't even hear what she's saying. Whoever's talking, I can't hear. Okay, go ahead.
I spoke to the local government services representative today over the phone. She said to expect the letter like we typically receive every year in the beginning of December, so if we could table this for now.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's leave it on the agenda for our next meeting, and if she has the same report to table it again, we will, but if it is left on the agenda, we won't forget about it. Open projects. So I handed my list apparently to the clerk, so they'll get sent out to everybody. If you guys could just look through them, and at our next meeting, we will.
But I do have a question.
Oh no, I gave my paper away, so I cannot discuss it. Go ahead.
At our last committee meeting, Kevin, it was you, I do believe, that requested legislation draft to be presented on 11301, having to do with the legislation not having to...
Yes. Where does that stand, Mr. Gilbert? For us not to publish in the newspaper, but to...
So we have to get, I would like to get control of the council Facebook page back, but I don't think we have to. I think it'd be more appropriate to post it to the city's Facebook page and then put it on the city website.
Already done.
Cool.
Bonnie was very, very nice this week, and she created, sorry.
Absolutely. Please turn your microphone on.
Sorry. Bonnie, you can pipe up back there. I was talking with Bonnie, and we were looking at the City of Bucyrus website page, because that is, it's not just social media, you have to have it on your city page also. So she's created that. We did a test run, and legislation went in. Okay, so we're going to have something
Plus, it's on
announced.
documents on demand as well, so two
Correct.
redundancies there when it comes to the city's website.
Now, I still believe I think it still has to go places like the courthouse and.
So, well, it does because it's in our current ordinances. However, we want to make some changes, and I was reading through them, and I have some more changes on top of what I know we just requested, that legislation. But I've got some more that I wanted to present with the new council next year. And you see there, I have highlighted these places that it is currently said that they have to be posted. That was, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
That was a question. Are we required by anybody other than this ordinance to post them there? I know they also go to the library, the law clerk's office, at the courthouse. Are there places that want to continue getting them? And if so, do we want to continue having our clerk drive around and hang them up? Can we email them to people? I want some answers to those questions of whether we're required, or is that just something we've always done?
I can look into that.
Okay. And then for 1113.02, the formal step-by-step legislative procedure with the request for legislation, just to share with everybody what has been going on, is I met with the law director and the council clerk regarding our request for legislation forms, because it's really unclear who fills out what, does what, yada, 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 because we've done it differently a couple times. So we made some suggested changes, and I have a brand new form that I'm going to submit in the new council year, based on things that the law director said that will make his job easier, but that'll come up. I just will let everybody know that that'll come up in the council year next year.
Yes, I like this form.
It will have to go through and change 113.02 slightly to mirror what that says. So the fact that we requested that, and then when I saw it wasn't ready yet, is when I kind of started working on some of this stuff this week. Just so I'm not angry about that yet, unless it's preventing her from not sending the legislation to the newspaper, because I don't want to pay that bill. So if she violates 113.01 or .02 and doesn't send it to the newspaper, that prosecution would come from your office, correct? You're not going to do that, correct?
Correct.
So are we okay to not send it to the newspaper and then change this in January?
But did you read this? This 113.01 says that the council, clerk of council, was hereby directed on behalf of council to post the full text of all ordinances, resolutions which may be enacted by the council in a prominent place within the county courthouse, as an acceptable substitute for the previously required full text publication.
Yeah, I was trying not to get my blood pressure up by reading that again.
Well, no, in the newspaper, because I mean, that
Because it
says
says-
as a substitute, so.
In 1986, we could have stopped paying the damn newspaper.
Right, but I mean, what I'm saying is if you don't get anything done right away with this,
Yeah.
she's not in violation because
Good
this
point.
is saying she can be doing the posting at those places as a substitution for putting it in the newspaper.
That is what it says.
All right. So we're cool to rest on this till January.
Correct.
We'll get it, we'll work to get it to say what it needs to say for what we're doing, to include updating where we're putting it online and all that. Okay. So I suppose then I would like to withdraw my request for legislation at this time that you haven't got finished yet anyway, we're good.
Cool.
The first time you've not had something ready, we're happy about it.
And we will let the public, we'll do an announcement out also so that they.
Put it on the water bill.
Everybody's got links to everything, she's good.
Yeah. Okay. Any other open projects, Mrs. Dishon? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I just want to go on the record and say I sure am gonna miss you.
We all will.
So, as I said, all of the committees have now given their stuff to Michelle. She's gonna scan them all and send them out to all of us where we all can look through all of them. And then just be prepared to bring those back to the next respective committee meetings. And then each committee can go through and just remove the stuff. So what we're looking to try to do is clean up and get rid of the stuff that we don't need. Also, only because there's no other time to officially say it, and we can talk more about this at our council meeting on December the 2nd, but December 4th is the Candlelight Christmas, so I would like to move our committee meetings as a whole away from the December 4th meeting. But I think Chris had to, I was asking some people's schedules, Chris has to work the Wednesday before, and Terry has to go to church because it's Advent time, which I had forgotten about. So I don't think we want to move it to Wednesday, so I spoke with the auditor, and she'll know a little more as we get closer to the December 2nd, if there are any emergent things that come up that she needs us to address. But I think we could loosely, in our minds, think that we can safely push that December 4th meeting into the following week, whether it be Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. I think we can make that decision at the December 2nd council meeting. So if you would throw that on the agenda for like new business or old business or something business, to where we could talk about it at the December 2nd council meeting of when to reschedule the committee meetings, that would be grand.
My 2 days would be the 8th and 9th, which is Monday and Tuesday. No day shift those days. And then Friday.
But that way.
Wednesday and Thursday
Yeah,
would be.
so
another-
maybe unofficially, everybody let Michelle know your availability for that week, and then when we get to that meeting, we can make an official determination of the full group of us having a fair vote, rather than it being the finance committee deciding for everybody, but I just wanted to bring that up, because Vicki's got something else to do on that evening anyway, so she's happy now she gets to do it, and I wanted her to know that it's safe to make those plans. Any other open projects, Mr. Moritz?
Just make sure the media notice is done right.
We'll work with Michelle on that. Mr. Mee, did you already say no as well?
Yes, sir.
All right, public participation for finance. Seeing none, we will adjourn at 8:35 PM.